Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Daily, and thank you for joining me as we talk about chapter 13 to 19 of the Quintessential Quintuplets manga series, giving focus to the characters of Itsuki and Yotsuba, as well as showcasing just how great of an elder sister Ichika really is in her supportive role. So far from the series, we've seen the relationship between Itsuki and Yusuke, and it's been pretty rocky. Both are always at odds with each other and always bickering and arguing, kind of similar to a relationship between a brother and a sister. However, since their first interactions, their animosity, their dislike, whatever you want to call it, towards each other, hostility, has been escalating. And in these chapters, it gets to its boiling point, and the two have a very heated argument / discussion, fight, and some unsavory words and things were said that hurt each other's feelings, but some weren't justified, but they were very understandable. I'll talk about it in just a second, but first I want to talk about the way they resolved this kind of issue between the two characters. Because in my opinion, this was handled in a really creative and smart way, turning a prank into a favourable situation. Now, the reasons to why I liked this was because it showed Yusuke's character as being creative, smart, thinking outside the box, and resourceful. Earlier on in the chapter, before the issue was resolved, Itsuki dressed up like Miku to try and fool Yusuke into making him believe that she was Miku. Now, this was again kind of schemed by Ichika and Nino. So, to me, that tells me that Ichika and Nino wanted Itsuki and Yusuke to talk to each other just without the awkward tension that they've been carrying, because even the sisters notice that the two characters are arguing more and acting more hostile towards each other than normal. This time it's different. This time something feels personal in the air. So we get that. We also learn the fact that there's a situation now that Itsuki is crying alone in her room because she's too stubborn to admit that she needs help. Now, the stubbornness also can be seen in Yusuke's character because he's quite stubborn in of itself. However, just the whole scene in general with her crying alone really did break my heart, because I've been in a situation to where I wanted to ask for help, but I felt like I couldn't. And I felt like I was too prideful to ask for help myself, so I ended up struggling through what I needed to on my own. And, of course, that then created a very impactful, emotional scene for me as a reader. So I really did like that, but at the same time, it's the way that they handled the situation and fixed it that I liked even more. Because they used the fact that Itsuki looked like Miku. So, being that he wasn't fooled earlier, Yusuke pretended to be fooled and forced a situation to where Itsuki was forced to stay there and listen to his studying advice so that he could help her. If she had walked away and run away, things would have been awkward and weird and just silly in terms of story writing. So the fact that she then had to endure his help and then break that kind of wall of stubbornness allows her to easily ask him for help in the future. And this was great, because it gets another step forward into Yusuke understanding and learning all the girls and their kind of situations and their problems, helping them out personally and intellectually, as well as the fact is it just helps him improve as a tutor and gets better results in the future. Yusuke's outburst towards Itsuki isn't justified. I said that earlier on, but it is understandable when you look at it from his point of view. This guy has just been told that he'll be fired if any of the girls don't all pass their mid-terms. Now, this is very unlikely because not all the girls are on his side. If given this information, Nino would definitely run with it and do everything she can to make sure she fails or someone else fails so that he would be fired later on. And at this moment in time, Itsuki is acting rather childish in her refusal to accept help based on our current information that we know so far. We don't know that she's stubborn and that she struggles to ask for help. We don't know any of that. So to us, she's just looking rather childish and rather bratty. Yes, I understand that she asked for help in the past, and he declined before becoming the tutor, but she now understands his situation, so she should be a little bit more reluctant to help out. Not reluctant, she should be a little bit more kind of giving in allowing him to help her. Yeah, that's it. But that being said, I do like the fact that we're slowly seeing Yusuke improve around these female characters, in understanding them better, thus allowing him to teach them more effectively, and also he gets help from Ichika / guidance as well, which isn't really a bad thing because the two are meant to be supporting partners. So yeah, not too bad for his character. I do like the way that they've handled him throughout this blockade of chapters. And we'll get on to the last point with his character, which is the young photo of him. Now this raises a few questions in my mind. Number one, what was he like in the past? We hear tales of him being a troublemaker, but that's all we get told. So I'd love to see it go a bit more into detail. We learn a lot more, we see more things. I really do want to see what he was like before he became a bookworm. And how convenient was it that all the girls happened to be there on his school trip at that moment in time, on that date, and they're just very coincidental. So question number two was, who was that lucky girl standing next to him in that picture? Surely he should remember a voice, a name, or even something that gives him a small hint, but hey, who knows? Maybe we'll just have to wait and see at the end of the series. And I honestly do hope they give us a proper answer at the end of the series, and not just a, oh, because all the girls look the same, choose yourself. Because if they do that, that's going to hinder the overall experience of this manga as a general collective. I honestly do not know if that is the outcome. I have not seen the ending. And yeah, so hopefully not. Please just tell me that it's Miku or Nino or Ichika, someone, okay? Talking of Ichika, I found her rather decent in these chapters, showcasing a more mature side to her character and really coming into her own into that elder sister role, giving advice to her sisters and also giving advice and helping Yusuke out in kind of allowing him to understand situations that they're going through a little better in order to help him improve his way of tutoring each and every person. So yeah, I really do like that. Also, she points out stuff to Miku and others to kind of help guide them and push them forward, give them a bit more momentum. So yeah, her as a supporting character is really working well at the moment. Now I know that they used the phrase supporting partners in the last arc to explain the relationship between Yusuke and Ichika, but this just emphasizes that greatly. Plus, I have to say congratulations on her in getting that role as an actress because, again, it's a very hard thing to do, but it could also create some issues with studying if they all pass and Yusuke is still around in the next arc. Giving Yosuba some focus was really well needed, as it displayed in a very positive light her kindness and her very giving nature in helping lots of people out at the same time, also providing the fact that she is a very keen learner despite being the most clueless out of all the other sisters, so she's not really the sharpest tool in the shed, but at least she wants to try. She does often bring comedy to the series, which does make me laugh at times, which is always a good thing, but then giving her that self-focused chapter in chapter 13, again, did wonders for her character in building her up, making me invest in her character a little bit more and wanting to learn more about her character, which I felt was much needed. Because we've not really seen a lot from her character up to this point, so we do need some focus on her in learning more about her and understanding why she wants to learn and what her goals and aspirations are in the future. I think that would be very interesting to see, so hopefully that comes in the future. Another great bit of trickery from these arcs was trying to get everybody into the school by using Yotsuba's character. I thought was fantastic. I love the fact that they tried to trick the school gatekeeper thingy with the fact that all the sisters look the same, so they all just put on the bow and they all just pretend that she's just running in through the school, out the school, into the school. It was funny, it was creative, it was chaotic, but it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we see more things like that, because honestly, would love to see it again. Now going back to Nino's character, I mentioned earlier that she most likely would do everything within her power to get rid of Yutsuki after knowing the fact that if any one of the sisters fail, then he gets fired. But surely if she was to do that, then all she would have to do was fail herself. But I don't think that is the case. Nino has been stated to want what's best for her sisters, and after seeing that they are working hard and the atmosphere has gotten a bit more lively and they're all getting along a bit better, could inspire change in her character, making her feel that he does have some uses within being around everybody, because he is improving their lives a little bit more. He, of course, being Yutsuki. Plus, she seems rather prideful and full of herself, so I don't think it's in her style to purposely fail the test. I'd like to see her fail, because this could create room for some development for her in the future in rebuilding a bond and trust between herself and Yutsuki, because she could probably go something along the lines of everyone passes apart from her, and Yutsuki's like, oh well, I guess I'm gone now, thanks for everything, Nino, you really could have tried, you know. And then she would get upset, stressy, aggravated, and say, I did try, you know, I tried my best, but I guess I wasn't good enough, or whatever. And that would then create a situation in where she could learn more, she could develop, as well as the fact is Yutsuki can develop, because we learn more about both characters. I think that would be pretty good. So she's still a bit of a wild card, but she could prove to be decisive in the outcome, and we just have to wait and see how she is played in the next chapter. Because we end off with her just kind of doing her own thing going into this exam, not really sure whether she will do it correctly or incorrectly. Overall, these were a really good set of chapters, building up tension ahead of an exam. There's nothing worse than going into an exam feeling unprepared, and these girls certainly feel underprepared and overwhelmed. So only time will tell if these girls will pass and what their grades are going to be. Hopefully they will pass, but at the same time, it'd be interesting to see where the story goes if they don't, because the main protagonist will no longer be around because he'll be out of a job. So yeah, let's see how it goes, shall we? We have some beautiful artwork, some sweet character interactions, and very interesting dialogue. So hopefully you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button and let me know your thoughts on these chapters down in the comment section below. Who do you want to pass the most? Put it down there in the comments. Is it Ichika, Nino, Itsuki, Yosuba? There's one more. Who's the sister I'm forgetting? Miku! How can I forget Miku? She's the best. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts, and of course, subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me. And until next time, have a great day. Arigato, madane. Goodbye.